Hello YouTube, this is Corbin22 here, back with another 100-point squadron build for Star Wars X-Wing miniatures. Tonight's build, I've done something, I've created a squadron build here that focuses mainly on, well, it was going to focus mainly on defensive target locking, but rather instead what I've done is, until I get the cards I require for it, I've gone with compiling together a squadron that takes advantage of constant target locking without having to take the target lock action itself. And to do that, I've come up with three rebel ships. We have an Incom T-65 X-Wing piloted by Tarn Myzen, and we have two Black Moon Squadron pilots piloting two Frytech Incorporated E-Wing escort starfighters. So that said, let's look at the build. Now we've had a look at the pilots. So it's a pretty typical build. Again, I tried making this into more defensive target locking squadron, but I did not have enough. I didn't have enough of the specific astromech in order to make do with that. So I just kind of improvised and gone with a build that takes advantage of constant target locking without having to take the target lock action itself. So we'll look at the squadron leader, and I'll show you what I mean. So for the squadron leader, we have Tarn Myzen. Tarn Myzen has a pilot skill of 3. He flies the Incom T-65 X-Wing. He has an attack value of 3, an agility value of 2, a hull value of 3, and a shield value of 2. He can take on the focus and lock-on actions. He costs 23 squadron points, and he's able to take on a warhead upgrade and an astromech upgrade. His special ability states, when an enemy ship declares you as the target of an attack, you may acquire a target lock on that ship. So again, Tarn Myzen, his ability allows you to acquire a target lock on your attacker, which is good for, say you want to attack him back next round, or it saves you from taking that target lock action the following turn. For his modification, I've gone with a munitions failsafe. I've gone with munitions failsafe for all three of these guys. And it basically states if you're attacking with a secondary and instructs you to discard it, you do not discard it until the attack actually hits. This is best combined with my personal favorite secondary weapon, and that is the Flechette torpedoes. Flechette torpedoes come at an attack value of 3, and they can be used at range 2 to 3, and they're the cheapest warheads you can get. They only cost like 2 apiece, and here's why. If I can just get this to focus. States, discard this card and spend your target lock to perform this attack. After you perform this attack, the defender receives 1 stress token if its hull value is 4 or lower. So this is why I like Flechettes so much. Flechette torpedoes are awesome for crippling your opponent or messing up their strategies. They're not exactly meant for getting lots of damage, so they're just meant to annoy the hell out of your opponent, because especially if they're using ships like the TIE series, and I mean pretty much every one of the TIE series, because all of their hull values are 3 or low, or 4 or lower than 3. And this basically guarantees that the enemy will get stressed, because even if the Flechette torpedoes don't hit their mark, the explosion will cause the defender to be stressed, regardless of these accurates emit. So combining this with munitions failsafe is perfect, because you constantly get to keep, as long as you keep missing, you'll constantly stress out your opponent and have them fall right into your hands. Now, here's for his astromech, and this is the astromech that I require in order to make this build a more defensive target lock build, and that is the R7 astromech. This came with the E-Wing squadron, the E-Wing expansion, and it states, once per round when defending, if you have a target lock on the attacker, you may spend the target lock to choose any or all of the attack dice. The attacker must reroll the chosen dice. So come for 2 points, the R2 astromech pretty much treats your target locks as defensive focuses or whatever, because you can spend your target lock that you have on the enemy that's attacking you, then choose as many dice as you want, have to re-roll it, which increases your chance of them giving an unfavorable result and increases your chance of evading their attack. Again, this is why I wanted to make this a more defensive target lock build, but because I don't have enough R7 astromechs, I only got 2 E-Wings, so I only got 2 R7 astromechs. Unfortunately, I have to make do with the one I have here, and the other 2 I just kind of had to improvise. The other 2 ships I have they have the same loadout, so I'm just gonna go over one of them. For Tarn Myzen's wingman, I have 2 Black Moon Squadron pilots. They have a pilot skill of 3. Wow, sorry, bad English. They fly the Frytech Incorporated E-Wing escort starfighter. They have an attack value of 3, an agility value of 3, a hull value of 2, and a shield value of 3. They can take on the focus, lock-on action, barrel roll, and evade actions. Cost 29 squadron points, and they're able to take on assistance upgrade, a warhead upgrade, and an astromech upgrade. They're common pilots, so they don't have any special abilities. And that's pretty much all they got going for them. Also added the fact that even though these guys are common pilots, they're hell of expensive. Like the Knave Squadron pilot, which is the pilot below the Black Moon squadrons, costs 27 points. I mean, come on, a Black Moon Squadron pilot costs as much as Wedge Antilles, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, the ship isn't really all that powerful, but I'm guessing considering it can take a lot of actions, and it pretty much is. If you think of the expanded universe, the E-wing is supposed to be the spiritual successor to the X-wing, because it has the same attack stats, pretty much the same attack and defense stats as the X-wing, but it has the evasion value of the A-wing and can take on system upgrades similar to that of the B-wing. So, yeah, I guess I guess it's pretty much like having. I guess with the E-wing, it's like having an X-wing, A-wing, and a B-wing all in one ship, which isn't too bad. I've given them a munitions failsafe just like I have for the other two pilots, and for their system upgrade, I have chosen a fire control system. A fire control system states, after you perform an attack, you may acquire target lock on the defender. So basically, after you attack your target, and if they're still in the fight, you can acquire a free target lock action onto that defender, and then you can spend that target lock for your flechettes the next turn. And then, of course, we also have flechette torpedoes for each of them. Attack value 3, range 2 to 3. They do stress if their hull value is 4 or lower. And then for the astromechs, I've chosen two R2 astromech droids, which state you may treat all 1 and 2 speed maneuvers as green maneuvers. So how this works is, the E-wing has one maneuver more than the X-wing, one more green maneuver more than the X-wing. It has all of its speed 1s, its speed ahead 2, and its speed ahead 3 are all green maneuvers. With the R2 astromech, it turns the E-wings, I think all the E-wings bank 2 and sharp turn 2s into green maneuvers as well, which makes it easier for you to stay on your opponent. Say you do like a K-turn, you can still stay on your opponent's tail, remove your stress, and then do a following action the next round. Anyway, yeah, that's all there is for this build. So yeah, I'm going to call this my advanced targeting. I guess I'll just call this advanced targeting, or advanced target lock build. Advantages is the fact that they can take constant target locks without having to take the target action itself, which is pretty much the emphasis of the build. I mean, Tard Myzen can take a target lock on the enemy that's attacking him, and then both the Black Moon Squadron pilots can take target locks on the enemies they're attacking. Then, of course, they're outfitted with munitions failsafe, which is perfect for their flechette torpedoes, because even if the torpedoes miss, they won't lose the torpedo and the enemy will still get stressed. The R7 astromech makes target locking with Myzen more defensive because he can spend his target lock to change any or all of his opponent's attack dice, which could help turn the attack to your favor. And of course, the E-wings have R2 astromechs to increase their green maneuver count, allowing them to perform red maneuvers and then get rid of that stress more easily while still staying on your opponent's tail. The disadvantage of this build, even with all the upgrades, both the X-wing and the E-wing have one thing in common: they're very, very, very fragile ships. Both of them have a total hit point value of 5, with X-wings having 3 hull and 2 shields, and the E-wings having 3 shields and 2 hull. Both of them have the same attack stat, but the E-wings are slightly more. The E-wings have one more agility point more than the X-wing does, so they'll have an easier time evading enemy attacks, which I guess would make. And then of course, the R7 astromech, you're leaving it all to chance because you're spending your target to make the enemy reroll their attack dice. So there's the chance that they could get a better result than what you had before. So there's that risk as well. Other than that, there isn't much else. There isn't much else going for them in terms of weaknesses. So yeah, I'm gonna call this my I'm calling this my advanced targeting build. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. If you like, you may use this build for any competitive or casual play, or if you want, you could tweak it or revamp it to your own specifications. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Corbin22 signing off.